And here we are again, less than 24 hours since I made my last video. A deputy constable in Houston, Texas, pulled over a car at 12:45 in the morning for a traffic violation. The driver of that car exited his vehicle and opened fire on the deputy, killing him. Obviously got in his car and took off, not as a manhunt looking for this clown. Corporal Charles Galloway was a 12-year veteran who just moved to the night shift because he wanted to be an FTO. And now he's dead because of the coward who decided, I'm not going in, I'm not going to prison, you're not taking me alive. Another one of those asshats kills a police officer and takes off. Another tough guy with a gun. And I bring this up tonight because, as we know, I talked about the NYPD thing. And I found it funny when I looked and saw all the responses from all the local Democratic politicians in New York, and the statements they made in the past and the statements they made after Jason Rivera was killed and his partner was critically wounded in that shooting in Harlem. The Attorney General, Letitia James, said back on July 8th, 2020, New York has lost all faith in their law enforcement. This past Friday night, she said, all of New York mourns tonight. We pray for the safety of our police. Another hypocrite politician. That's all it can be. They're just looking, they want people to think they care, and they don't give a shit. Another politician in New York, comptroller Brad Lander, on June 9th, 2020 said, it's time to defund the police and reimagine policing. Another clown who wants to send social workers and counselors to police calls where police officers should obviously be. So he's another one of those clowns. Defund the police. Let's send a counselor out there. They'll be fine. This past Friday, he said, a 22-year-old police officer has died, and we're praying for his partner's recovery. In 2020, he's pushing to defund. All of a sudden, he found a heart, and he's praying for recovery of the officer who's fighting for his life. Another political asshat. Council member Shahana Hanif, if I'm pronouncing that right, if I'm not, oh well. January 21st, 2020, more police will not keep us safe. Nope, they wanted less police so they could get more crime, so they could push their bullshit agenda. Saturday, she said she's heartbroken by last night's shooting. That means so much, and I'm sure all the NYPD really appreciate you saying you're heartbroken when they really know you don't give a shit. Assemblyman Robert Carroll said back on June 8th of 2020, our streets are over-policed, and black and brown Americans are over-criminalized. Well, that may or may not be true, but it just so happens that the criminal who opened fire on those two NYPD officers was a black male. Could have been white, could have been Hispanic. He happened to be black, and he was a criminal. I don't think he was over-criminalized. I think he should have been locked up. He shouldn't have been on the street. But thanks to all you bleeding hot liberal politicians in New York, he was on the street, and now he's dead. Oh, well, I'd say he got what was coming to him. On Saturday, I'm sorry, I just went off. This Robert Carroll said, rest in peace, Jason Rivera. Your service will not be forgotten. Gee, that's funny because in 2020, he was saying that the police, they over-criminalize black and brown Americans, and there was too many police on the street. Our streets are over-policed. But now you want Jason Rivera to rest in peace because he sacrificed his life for this asshat politician who, again, doesn't give a shit about anything but himself and his bullshit agenda. Another council member, Kristen Richardson, said back on January 2nd, 2020, the NYPD is still the biggest gang in New York City. That's right. And Friday night, she said, she is saddened by the loss. A loss of one is a loss to the whole community. Now, does she mean the NYPD gang? Or does she mean all the residents of New York City? See, I'm kind of conflicted with that statement. Obviously, she doesn't give a shit. It's bullshit. I like my asshat politician thing tonight. She's another one. And finally, we have a council member named Lincoln Restler. Back in June, on June 30th, 2020, he said, to pay for a new police class in this budget is a slap in the face to the movement demanding transformation. That movement being the defund the police movement. I'm imagining the NYPD wanting to have a police academy, but he said no. It's a slap in the face to all these people who don't like the police and don't want the police on their streets. They want to be able to commit crimes freely. How dare you want to put more police on the streets? Well, Mr. Restler went on to say Friday night, tonight we lost a hero. That's so heart-wrenching that all these Democratic liberal politicians in New York City all of a sudden care. All of a sudden they care that a police officer lost his life doing a job that no one cared about. Only his co-workers, and although there's a lot of us who care and back the blue and defend the police, never mind defund. How about defend the police? But these politicians, 2 years ago, they didn't care. They wanted to get rid of them. NYPD's a biggest street gang. The streets are over-policed. How dare you want a new police academy? But now, this past weekend, they're all heartbroken and sad because basically their words back then came and kicked them right in the face. Because they were wrong then, and they're wrong now. So they're just telling a little white lie, pretending they care, when we all know that they don't. They're just pushing their bullshit agenda. They're going to keep on doing whatever it is they have to do to get reelected and try to bash law enforcement every chance they get. And that's it. So I just want to talk about that briefly tonight. And again, bring up less than 24 hours after Officer Rivera was killed, Corporal Galloway was killed in Texas by another coward criminal who decided to get out of his car and shoot this officer when he was approaching him. Never even had a chance to defend himself. Got out, opened fire, and took off. Hopefully they'll find this asshole. And if he gets killed in the process because he has a gunfight with the police, oh well. If he doesn't, I hope he spends the rest of his miserable fucking life rotting in prison. That's all I'm going to say tonight. Thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you. Subscribe to my channel if you will. I'd appreciate that. Like this video. Share this video. Hit the notification bell. You'll be notified when something else is coming up, because something will be coming. Have a great night. I hope everybody's healthy and safe, and we'll see you soon.